Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on CrossFit Garage Podcast. I am Andy McCann, owner of CrossFit Garage and entrepreneur of other stuff, some successful and some failed businesses, because you got to fail some, right? And here we are trying to teach you to build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So the area I'm going to talk about today is being prepared, preparedness, prepared, whatever, right? So take that for what it means. I'm not going to go down to like doomsday prepper type stuff. What I'm going to do is talk to you about the most common things that are going to happen in your life and how you can most likely prepare for those. So interesting. I have a write-up that I did. And then just for funsies, I went into ChatGPT and I said, give me the top 10 disasters and then top 10 personal quote disasters, right? And so it kind of mixed those together. Then I said, rank them in order and then give me 3 steps you can do for each of those. And their list is nearly mirror image to mine. So really the answer is 42, but also ask ChatGPT first, because it would have saved me about an hour of writing up this outline, because it has pretty much the same outline. If I had read through theirs first, I would have, or his or whose or whatever, I would have edited it. But anyway, I always find it fascinating to see what it has. It's a ChatGPT. I know for some of you, it's a hate relationship. For me, in the world of dyslexia, it has made my writing a whole lot more clear and succinct. And man, it's awesome. And Evie and I have used it to try to come up with some ideas for outlines for school that make more sense. So we'll come up with an outline and it's no bueno. And we'll take that same sort of thing and say, hey, ChatGPT, make this sound flow better. And then it lines it up. And you're like, yeah, Evie, that's exactly right. We should have just moved this here and that there. So it's just fascinating what it can do. Will it take over the world? Maybe. So maybe it's masquerading as Skynet. Okay. Anyway, so I am big into helping you guys be fit for the future, to eat correct for now and the future, and to help your finances. We don't dive a lot into finances, but if you're going to live into your 90s, so the motto of our gym is we are happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now, as well as into our 90s. And if we're going to live into our 90s, you got to have money as well. So I figured I can't leave that one out. Plus, I am an entrepreneur. I have rental properties and other stuff that has failed and gone well. And I think it's a value. So if you can get yourself, like, use the W-2 lifestyle to create a 1099 lifestyle or even an LLC lifestyle at the same time, and then migrate over. So creating your own escape velocity. So it doesn't matter what you say or do. You can not be beholden to anybody because, you can just walk away, right? So I think that is super awesome, and I want to help people get there. Additionally, I have this stuff written up, and so I will hit pause and make sure I go back and look. I am going to try really hard to not be very tangential, but I will fill you with some stories. So I'm going to start all this off with, I love the idea of preparedness. I love the idea of knowing, like, my future is going to be better off if something were to go wrong. I am an engineer, and I like knowing how things work. I like planning, and I like the contingencies. Knowing that, I'll also say I have not been very good at doing exactly what I'm going to tell you. I have hit some of the higher level ones, but I would love to do more. One guy that I've been listening to for years is Jack Spirko from the Survival Podcast. And he's been podcasting since 2008, pretty much when it came out. And his ideas is helping you live a good life when times are bad or even if they're not. So it is definitely not doomsday prepper. Like, one of the main things he says is get out of debt and then have emergency cash and then get out of debt. So he goes down those lines, like plant a garden. So similar things that I would say and have said on this podcast, he just dives way down deep into it. So some of the stuff I've heard him say for years, and I am going to give that to you, as well as my own twist on it. So I think sometimes, just like me, when I'm in the CrossFit world, health and fitness, I sometimes forget what an outsider may or may not see. So he is in that world, and sometimes he forgets what the normal guy may or may not want to do or can do, all right? So anyway, I will pause, and I will find the right bullet point to give you, but this won't be what you think it is in terms of, the disasters and planning. You can't plan for the end of the world, right? So we've got some weird junk going on right now, right? There's the Ukraine, there's stuff in Israel, there's stuff on our own borders, there's printing of money, and whatever way you believe with it, I don't really care. The idea is stuff always goes weird. And every 10 years, somebody says the world won't last for another 10 years. You know what you can't plan for? That. So, I mean, if the end is coming, then I guess go for Jesus, because that's your ticket out. Other than that, if it's just something else, like an asteroid is going to hit the planet, we're all screwed. It doesn't matter what you do. I would say just make sure you're with your family, right? So this is not those things. This is the things that are most likely going to happen. So I would say that a number one disaster that is going to hit everybody, well, as long as you can live long enough to get there, is your midlife crisis. So that's going to be part of it. Next one is losing a job. Everybody is going to lose their job or move jobs, right? And so we'll talk about that. Losing a loved one, that sucks. And did you set yourself up correctly for it? I know it's weird, like, it's my loved one. I don't want to think about insurance, but you do. And if you're a father with children, that doesn't make sense. If you're a father, that makes you somebody with children, or even just a husband, and you're the primary money earner, then you need to think about that thing. Because if you don't have insurance for the people that you would leave behind, then you're doing them a huge disservice and you're going to make them struggle. Now, I've got a buddy who said, honey, if I die, you're getting remarried. And she's like, all right. And so that's the plan, right? So he's like, you can't just do this on your own. We're not going to do all the insurance. Totally fine, but they have that plan. The next one is a financial crisis. And usually that financial crisis can kind of be into any of these other, the ones right above it. The next, which kind of stinks, is divorce, which is like, I think it's something like 50% of all marriages end in divorce, whether you're atheist or religious of any type. I think the only grouping of people that actually can stay the course more is those that went into the STEM world. So I think there's a stat out there about engineers, and they are actually staying married percentage more than those that are not engineers. So that's weird. I don't know if it's the let's fix this thing attitude, or if it's that people that might go into the world of engineering just don't have as many emotions as normal people. So I would fall into that bucket. I know I have a hard time relating to people. And just like when I walk into a room and I think, okay, in this room, what would Verity do? And then I go clean up whatever it is that's out because I'm looking at it through a different perspective. I also do the same thing. I'm like, okay, what is my normal reaction? Okay, that's probably wrong. Let's do something different. Okay, anyway, let me move on. Then there's legal issues. So it doesn't happen as, well, percentage-wise, these are in order. I would say probably the biggest one is going to be attached to a kinetic impact, so cars or something like that. If you have a business, then sooner or later you're going to get sued. And here at CrossFit Garage, we have been sued. We've been sued once for like real. We've had a couple that were for fakey, and it didn't go anywhere because fortunately Facebook was out and the guy was saying he got hurt in the garage games, and he had on Facebook him doing all these movements that you wouldn't be able to do if you were hurt. And the timestamps were like, hey, you're doing them right now while you're trying to sue us. And so we just video copied that and sent it to the lawyer, and the lawyer was like, you're an idiot. And so they dropped it. So that was easy. But yeah, so if you have a business, eventually you're going to get sued, or you're going to go to court, or I'm a landlord and I have been to court for that. Unfortunately, the next one, which I didn't think this was up, it was not on my list, is substance abuse. So people get addicted to stuff quickly. I could say caffeine and sugar are an addiction, but at least they're high functioning addictions. There are other addictions that are not. So that's going to be something, right? And the next one is kind of interesting because it goes along with the top 10 ways to die or to avoid death. And that's mental health challenges. So having a group of people, of like-minded believers, or people that look at the world as the glass is half full, that type of mentality to lift you up. So basically to find your band or your tribe, whether it's here at CrossFit Garage or at church or both together, or I don't know, you have a really good sense of family, everybody comes over, right? Interestingly, the last thing on the list, for my list and ChatGPT's list, is natural disaster. Now, I would think a meteor falling out of the space is not really natural, but that's what it means. So it's weird stuff like that. Inside of this is also going to be things where there's a sickness pervading the world. That's going to be some sort of natural disaster, right? Now, I know some of you out there are going to argue, well, that was man-made. Whatever. I don't care. But these are things you can do together, or, despite who caused it or whatever. If things come up, these top bullet points are going to get you through almost everything. And I will shortcut the whole thing. One is to be a little prepared at home and stay put. And if you're worried about your safety, go learn how to shoot a gun and get a concealed carry permit. That's going to be the bulk of it. Now, there's a whole lot inside of the just go be prepared. Yeah, what does that mean? And what does that entail? And we're going to break that down, okay? I'm going to pause and drink a little coffee. All right, so you're also going to hear in the background some lawn noise. We're having some work done at the house because I am not awesome enough to do it. Know when to hire a professional. Like if you're going up on your roof, professional. If you want to really take care of your landscaping, professional. If you want to chop down trees, professional. So don't do some things like lighting dynamite, professional. Don't do that on your own. Okay, so the first one is major life transitions. So the first thing you want to do here is have your financial world in order. So I'm going to cheat in all of this and tell you the best thing you can do is hire an expert. So we have Aaron Vincent and Vincent Financial. He's a member of the gym in our community. He's trusted and loved. He has done many awesome things. I know a guy who named his firstborn after him. At least I think he did. And he's the godfather of many people. He, in the good sense, not like the mob godfather. He volunteers at Goshen Valley, which is a boys' orphan up in North Georgia. He has done church plants. I mean, the guy has got a long list of, you can trust me, in my name. One of the things that he and Matt are doing, he is doing, yeah. So, grammar is taking apart the misinformation in the whole life policy world and telling people, look, don't do it if this, and let us help you. And so they've been helping people who've been looking at their policies from, the snake oil salesman and help. Anyway, so they've built a business on, let's be honest. And seriously, that is my business as well. We don't have contracts because we want to honor you and your commitment. If you move to Alaska, I'm not going to tell you, well, you're stuck with me. So financial planning. If you don't know how to do it, talk to Aaron Vincent. Essentially, what you should do is start building up a cash reserve in case something happens, the emergency fund. Get you're going to have to first figure out what all your expenses are. So I would use something like, we use YNAB, You Need a Budget Now, software. We just import it all and we categorize it. And it's going to tell you based on the categories that you use and the tracking you do, how much money you spend and where it's all going. So you can get an idea of, hey, this is what I need to live. And so you need to put all of that together. So just give me round numbers. Let's say it's $6,000 a month is what you spend to live. I don't know I'm just making numbers up here. And actually, let's use 10,000 because that's round. And I can do division on it if I need to. So let's say it costs you $10,000 a month to live. Now, there's probably a portion of that you don't actually have to spend. So you could say, yeah, I could probably get away with dropping 2,000 of it. Okay. So now you're at $8,000. You need to start saving by the week until you get to $8,000 for that month. Once you have 1 month saved, go for 2 months and then 3 months. And at 3 months, you can start to try other stuff, but you should have some emergency cash. Where does it go? Man, you can invest it in CDs or ask Aaron, where should I put it? But definitely don't spend it and don't put it in a place that is super easy to get a hold of. Now, that being said, cash is the most universal support tool. So you think about a Swiss Army knife, it can't be everything, but cash can be everything. So I carry cash on me. I put some cash in my car. I have cash in a jar in the house, right? Maybe not as much as I should, but you should keep some cash around. So I think my dad told me a long time ago, hey, there's really not anything $100 can't buy and get you back home or fix. I'm like, okay. And that was, that's like in 1980. So let's up that for inflation. There's nothing $500 can't do, right? I could probably pay somebody $500 to drive me back to Atlanta from wherever I am, or Woodstock, right? I could probably buy a part for cash for $500. I can definitely fill up my car, right? So if for whatever reason people can't take credit cards, their internet's down, the EMP blew up, I don't know, whatever. People can still take cash. And a business owner, you know what he wants? He wants your cash. He doesn't want his product. He wants your cash. So carry cash. So build up that cash reserves, have cash. The other one inside of this major life transition is like changing your career and developing your skills. So what are you doing right now? If you are never sharpening the axe, you're just swinging at the tree. Eventually you just become a blunt mallet. You're a hammer and you're not really doing what you're supposed to do. So I would always encourage people to take a percentage of their income, put it into another bank account or something like in YNAB, you can just split it off into a category and call it personal development, and then spend the money on yourself to develop. Not like, well, I'm going to get a new car and that's development. No, that's not development. Doing something like Like I bought into this Two Brain mentor group, the Tinker Group. Yes, it was $15,000. That is a lot of money. I did not want to spend it on myself. Somebody asked, would you spend it on your wife? I'm like, hell yeah, I'd spend it on my wife because it's a great thing. Then they're like, duh, you should do it. So I hated to spend the money, but I have already gotten a tremendous amount of value, not just in the knowledge, but in the connections of people. So there are people, like I told you, find people going through the same thing or are at where you want to be or in that category and join them, right? Start that movement. Like here at the gym, there are people on their journey to be healthy and fit. If you would like to be healthy and fit, where best to go than into a place where people are starting to be healthy and fit and they have a coach to guide them. So you're paying the coaches to shortcut the process. They are your mentors. Listen to them, right? Okay, so do some career development. Now, you may do sideways career development. So I have mentioned on 2 podcasts now an enema, and most of you are like, what is that? And back before I saw Batman, when Joker said, this town needs an enema, I had no idea what that was. And then I had a kid, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually thinking it's a crappy business that nobody wants to be involved in. I wonder if there's a play there for some sort of business idea. And so now I'm going to start Googling and researching that. Will I do it? Maybe not, but I can research it. It'll be interesting. And I don't know what business to do there, but the poo-pourri and that new thing, poof, which is spelled poop with an H. And then what's the other one? Squatty potty. If they can make a business on helping people use the bathroom, then what could we do here, right? So you may see this business pop out in a few years, whatever. Anyway, so career development, idea development, grab people and help them along the line. So Levi is looking at several colleges. He wants to do computer science. He wants to actually be an entrepreneur. He wants to start a business. He and I have talked a lot about where to go. It really doesn't matter. In-state would be great because it's only $1,000 a semester for the tuition versus out of state. Auburn right now is like $17,000 or $15,000. It's a lot more because of the Hope and the Zell Miller, those scholarships. But he has suggested, hey, I should probably go to Georgia Tech because what I have in spades, they, for the most part, don't have. I'm like, what's that? And we talk about it. He is very social. He's okay playing sports. He's okay, standing up in front of people and talking. And having been a Georgia Tech graduate, there are not very many people at Georgia Tech that are very extroverted. So over there, we called you extroverted if you looked at their shoelaces while talking rather than your own. So he said, if I went to Georgia Tech, I could probably find my Steve Wozniaks, right? The other guy from Apple that nobody knows. Everyone knows Steve Jobs. So he's like, I could probably find the other guys to help me develop whatever it is we're going to develop. And I could be the face man. Like if you ever watched the A-Team, you know who face man is, right? But actually have some intelligence as well. I'm like, hey, that's great. So that's him looking down the line. Yes, I want the degree, but I don't want to be W-2 forever. I want my W-2 to be the gold mine that I've struck to help me then elevate to the next thing. All right, professional support. So this is just career counseling. I think everybody should have some sort of life coach. So at the gym, I will take your goals. So I usually ask people, give me 3 goals that are health and fitness related and 1 that's not. I'll put them in a Google Doc and we'll go back and forth. I'd say about 90% of the people that I text that to, we start a sheet, and maybe 80% of those people actually interact with the sheet. A couple of them go crazy, and it's been awesome. Several of them had made steps towards their goals based on just the stuff we went back and forth on or redefined their goals. But the thing is, they're getting professional support. Now you're thinking, Andy, how are you a professional? Well, I'm 50 and I've gone before you, right? So maybe not like professional in terms of I have the credentials, but I'm also not charging you anything. It's just somebody to bounce things off of, right? Somebody to help you see the forest through the trees. Many times you cannot see because it's you. But when someone else has the exact same problem, you know the answer. So go for some professional support or use our goal review. I promise you it'll be useful. Okay, so the next thing on this list is losing a job. This kind of goes in that major life transition. In that transition, you could also be going from, your midlife crisis and all that, but a lot of times it's still tied to money. So I think, let me back up. In that major transition, so let's say going in that midlife crisis, having a better sense of who you are is going to be a great thing. Again, I think having a mentor or being part of a group. I'm in a group on Tuesday mornings and it's led by Mike Teston and it is religious related. And I think it's great. It's men who are walking the same walk and we can keep each other accountable. And I think accountability in the world is missing. So you get people on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, social media, and they slap you down or throw around or whatever, but Where are the real people in your lives giving you real advice? I had a conversation with one of our members about going to the movies by yourself. And in this case, it was just a movie nobody else wanted to see. But I'm like, it doesn't matter who's judging you. And they're like, yeah, that's right. Nobody really is, right? So just having somebody to bounce that off of is great. Okay, so losing your job. This kind of moves into that last, or the middle two, career development and professional support. I really think you should start diversifying your income early on. Now, if your income is sales-based, then the diversification is actually double down inside of that because they're going to pay you more and then save that money. I love the book, The Talk About Money by Dale something. I can't think of his last name. And he said, hey, when you get your very first paycheck, just live on 70%. So that 70% is now your new 100%. So the first paycheck you get, don't spend it all, save, and you'll get used to a different level of 100%. Okay, so if you can diversify your income stream, it will give you opportunity as long as it's not taking away from your main income stream. So don't do the thing where like, hey, I'm working so hard at this other thing, I forgot to do my job, which I've seen people do. So things you could do is some part-time work. Now, on the part-time work, I would do part-time work at things you enjoy. So for example, Coach Danny, she has her own business. She peeled off from the W-2 world, created it into a an LLC world. So she's doing bookkeeping for businesses. So if you need one, she's great. She is a math major, so she actually knows numbers. And then she has a hobby she loves, which is CrossFit, and then became a coach. And I pay her. So she has a hobby she does, a part-time work, a hobby, it's a job. And she gives me great feedback and insight and whatever, but she's getting paid to do it. She loves it, right? You could do freelance work. So in a way, let's see, Jamie Thomas does acting and voice acting. So she's doing freelance work. She goes on, I think she said it was called Fiverr. So I'll do anything for a $5, like a $5 bill. So it's, she'll go on there and people will say, I need a voiceover of, I don't know, Mickey Mouse doing whatever. She's like, yeah, I can do Mickey Mouse voice. And then she'll, claim the job and do the work and turn it in. And there she's made some extra money. So she is freelancing on a skill and a hobby that she enjoys. She's making money on it. So turn your hobbies into some sort of extra income. Whether it's Upwork or Fiverr or any of those things out there, there's certainly something that you can do, right? Louis Judge, he does racing, right? So could he start a YouTube channel or whatever, showing him do that, right? And then, I don't know, rep some material, some goods. Yeah, maybe. He probably doesn't want to, but he could. All right, so those are pretty good. So I'd watch out for the side gig that takes up so much of your time and your income that you actually lose everything you're trying to do. So be careful. Go slow and steady. Next one is, I already talked about this, the saving in the emergency fund. So go for the 1 week, the 1 month, the 2 months, and the 3 months, and then start the other stuff. So save your cash. Networking. Again, I mentioned this with the Two Brain, just knowing the people that are out there. So network with those around, shake hands. If you're in our gym, turn to the person next to you and say, hey, my name is Andy. I'm a landlord. What do you do? Right. And they will say, hey, I'm Camilla and insert the blank. Right. So they're going to tell you what they do and then talk about it. You never know. Someone may be or have or do something that you exactly need or want, right? And we've had many entrepreneurs either come to the gym or start up from the gym. So there's a good chance that somebody's got something that you want to do. If you're looking for an Airbnb, that's Alec and Jennifer Sarcy, right? If you're looking to get into pickleball, then Brady's names are too close together. Brady has got his own pickleball company that him and his brother are promoting. So there are people in the gym doing really cool stuff. Ask him about it. All right, next one. So loss of a loved one. This is a toughie, man. Especially recently, there's been challenges in the world, and I can't say those words because I did a short video on YouTube, and they took down that video as well. So apparently, you can't say that flu-like thing that happened a while ago without getting banned still, or at least I said it in such a way. Maybe it's the Southern drawl. It was just so handsome. They're like, we can't let that guy say it. And I don't even know what I was talking about, but anyway, so there are things that have occurred, whether it's that or just prolonged health issues or whatever. And so people do pass away. Typically, your husbands are going to die before the wives. Guys, we just live hard lives. I don't know. We're made that way. We're supposed to be the bulwark, the wall in front of the rest of the community. And yeah, I'm Southern. I believe that still. Does it make it right or wrong? I don't know. It's whatever for you. I think it's right. I think guys should open doors, right? Anyway, so estate planning. you can do some simple things for estate planning like life insurance. If you don't have that, go talk to Aaron, Vincent Financial, downtown Woodstock. They can start you down the right road. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It could just be a term, which is, hey, I'm going to pay a little bit of money for a big payout if something happens, and then it goes away at a certain time, right? Or it could be a whole life, which is a little bit more expensive, but you can use that cash value for something else. You can do something as easy as my kids turn 18, they have the right to do their own medical choices. So you may want to have them write a letter saying, I don't know what the words are, but I forgot what it's called. It'll come to me later on. But there's a thing you get notarized, and it's basically saying, I give permission for this person to make the health calls for me if I'm incapacitated. And when your kids turn 18 or 21, when they're in college or getting out of college, they're going to need that. And maybe there's a friend down there that they need that for because something happened and now, the kid is out and the friend needs to be able to say, yes, do this, please, right? So that's a type of that estate planning, right? So then also, if both parents pass away and you pass on stuff to your kids, the government is going to take it. It's called the death tax. They want your stuff. If you do it correctly, you can avoid some of the taxes. So really, it should be called the stupid death tax. Don't play the stupid death tax game. There are some things you could do, and yes, you have to pay money for it, but it's going to save tons of money. Now, if you don't care, you're like, whatever, I'm dead, my kids figure it out. Well, that's something else, I guess, right? So the other one is open communication. The biggest failure in communication is to think you've communicated but failed to. It's a statement I've been using for probably the last 4 years. My kids hate it because I say it all the time. It's the words we use are loaded with different meanings, and sometimes it doesn't really come across the way you meant to say it. So communicate with your family, right? So people should understand what you want to have happen to them, what support you might be able to get from family, what support they might need from you. Talk. Another one is grief counseling. So another good business that just opened up, Jamie Thomas opened up Fox Oak Counseling. So if you need help in the mental side of it or grief side of it, heart side of it, I mean, there's somebody that you can literally pay to say, hey, please help me. And she is an expert. Hire an expert, hire a mentor. She will help get you through this stuff. So that's the number 3 thing. Somebody is going to be lost in your life, and that's super sad. If it's an adult, it's sad. If it's a child, it's even super sadder. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. Unfortunately, while you can't measure human lives, the insurance world doesn't measure human lives, and they tell you that a working adult is worth more than a stay-at-home adult and worth more than a child, which, I mean, right? How much are your children worth? They're priceless, but they definitely can put a price on them. So it's kind of sad, but know this stuff. Talk about this stuff. All right. So we getting into number 4, which I find fascinating. On my list, this was way up there. So I'm using ChatGPT's list right now because it actually made a little bit more sense. I'll skip over to mine in a second. When I see, things that I don't agree with, but, anyway, financial crisis. I had that higher up. Most people, I guess I counted losing a job as your financial crisis. Hold on while I get some hot coffee. And I've mentioned these in other podcasts. I'm going to glance over them. There's other podcasts that really talk about this. I know I've got one called Get Out of Debt. So increase your financial literacy. I am an engineer. I know nothing about finance. I hired somebody to teach me finance. It happens to be the people we pay to manage our finances. I asked them a lot of questions and it cost me money, but it is super worth it. Aaron Vincent, Matt, Alec, Brady, who else? Craig, all those guys are in that same world. They can give you advice. Go see them. Pay them for their advice. Just don't. If you're going to say, hey, please give me free advice, the free advice they're going to give you is don't be stupid, right? Pay for their advice. They have spent their life coming up with this stuff. Pay for the advice. Tell them thank you with money. Debt reduction. We went through that, how to get out of debt. Dave Ramsey's Snowball makes the most sense. It's the most effective, but doesn't make as much sense as the avalanche approach, but the snowball actually works more. So you pay off the smallest one first and then keep adding it to and keep going. Get out of debt. Best would be if you could stay out of debt or never been in debt, but there we go. And we already talked about the emergency fund, so I'm going to just skip over that one. Next on the list is divorce or breaking up a relationship. We're going to go with divorce because that's bigger. Man, if you're in an abusive relationship, the advice isn't for you. I probably would say run. I don't know, right? That's a tough one. I actually know what I would say. Go talk to Fox Oak Counseling and let Jamie give you the wisdom that she has spent her life accumulating. Just like in the gym, when I see someone lift badly, I can say, oh, it's this, fix that. And they're like, how did you know? I see that lift and the same mistake all the time. So it's not that I would love for you guys to think that I am a super genius like Wile E. Coyote. But it's not true. I'm just an engineer and I can see faults and I can map out the structure to get back on track. Also, CrossFit, they're our mentor. We pay them and they give us, hey, when you see this, the normal cue is that. I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for that. So anyway, pay people for their wisdom. Go seek support, right? So communicate, find the experts. One, you could set up like, hey, in every book I've ever read about financial stability of generational wealth, they have all said divorce wrecks it. Just wait for the next generation. So to get in front of that, maybe you start with a prenup or a postnup, right? Which basically says, hey, if we divorce, then it's going to be split up this way. That way, we don't have to spend all the money to go through the divorce. So, hey, we have $200,000 in our name. Let's go through a divorce and it's going to cost us about $200,000. And so basically in the end, nobody gets anything. So it's mutual destruction. And that's not really what you want, especially if kids are involved. So seek counseling, seek legal guidance. So we've got an old member, Brad McDonald, who has a business. He's a divorce attorney. I think it's McDonald and Hill or Hill and McDonald, one of those ways. And I think one of the funniest things he's ever said to me is, wow, Facebook has been great for my business. I'm like, what does that mean? So apparently people would reach out to old flames, even though they're in a relationship. So that was crazy. I wouldn't have thought that. But then again, I'm an engineer and most of the world doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so we kind of covered this one a little bit earlier. It was on my list in a different order, so I'm going to put it right here, and it's legal issues. So I don't know at the gym if we have any attorneys. Actually, if you're at the gym and you are in the legal world, let me know. It would be interesting to get your advice and what to do. So anyway, there are some things you can do in the legal world, like get an umbrella policy, and that'll stop people from suing you into court where the policy would end up just saying, yeah, we'll pay out. So you want a super expensive or a super high payout policy. So if you get $1 million umbrella policy, it says, hey, I'll cover you for everything. When someone does something and they want to come after you at the $1 million, they actually just pay it out. And then everything that you've got just goes out of whack because now they've paid the policy. 5 million, apparently they still pay. What you want is currently what I hear is you want a $10 million umbrella policy because those guys don't want to give anybody 10 million bucks and they will take them to court and do all the battling for you. So that's what you want to do. Weirdly, it's super cheap. It's not like, it's like $30 a month. You can have a $10 million policy, an umbrella policy. So anyway, that's a great way legal wise to cover you. There's, other things you can do preventative maintenance wise. I mentioned it earlier, prenuptial or postnuptial. You can establish the power of attorney. That's what it was called, power of attorney. Yep. So you can establish a power of attorney. And you can, of course, talk to any attorney if you've got businesses or whatever outside. If you have a business and it's not in an LLC, then you need to do that quickly because you do not want it attached to yourself. So if you own a business, let's say Mike's Ice Cream Shop, and somebody eats an ice cream and there's a razor in it, then they come after Mike's Ice Cream Shop, which is owned by Mike, and he never separated his business from his personal. Now they're coming after Mike's actual house and Mike's wife's car and Mike's kids' college education fund. So yeah, separate those things. And I don't know, in the 80s, razor blades were in all the candy. So whatever. I don't know why I went with that one, but that's what I went with. Okay. Serious illness. So weirdly, I did a podcast earlier and ChatGPT and I agreed. One way you can avoid serious illness or 3 ways you can avoid the top 10 ways to die in America are maintain a healthy weight, eat smart, and exercise regularly. So basically, follow the tenets of CrossFit. Show up, eat meats, vegetables, some fruits or some seeds and nuts, little fruit. I'm getting it backwards. But anyway, so you go down the line. It's basically things that were alive first, right? Eat that stuff that breathed first. There's other things you can do. Go to the doctor, get some regular checkups. You know me, I don't really go to the doctor ever. I do have one scheduled because I'm 50 and you're supposed to go get the silver bullet and all these other things. And I just haven't done it forever. I don't go to the doctor ever. Even when I've been like crazy, nasty sick, I usually just tough it out and I'm fine. The other is to have some health insurance. So here's a weird one. I'm going to throw down. This is me getting on a soapbox, being pissed. So there was a thing called the affordable healthcare that they pushed out. When I left my W-2 and I went solely on my own entrepreneurial prowess, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad, my insurance was for my entire family was $400. Then they passed the affordable healthcare, and my insurance costs. I bought the cheapest, worst insurance you could possibly get. At the height, I was paying $1,800 a month. Yes, because it was affordable. It has come down. Actually, finally, they removed the law saying you had to have that type of insurance. So the penalty for not having insurance was $1,800. So, of course, the lowest insurance policy you could get was $800. So the government price fixed it because that's what the penalty was. Otherwise, I would have just paid the penalty and then insured myself, because that's pretty much what we do. When we go to the doctor, I cash pay everything. It's only if something massive were to come up. And even then, I think I've got like a $20,000 or $30,000 deductible, because it is tough to be in the your own world and have insurance. Now, on the flip side, I build up resources in case any of that ever happens, right? Now, that resource pool is sitting for other things as well. So maybe that's not the best thing. It'd be hard to have a whole bunch of buckets set up to pay for these things when it's hard to get insurance when you're on your own. But you do have that. So one thing we have gone with is there's something called MetaShare, or there's a couple of them. Foundate. I'm going to blow the names on it, but basically it's cooperative or group insurance. And this one we got is faith-based. And it was actually kind of interesting when I applied for it. The lady at the end said, "Hey, can I pray for you?" I'm like, that's unusual and weird. And yeah, sure, let's do it. And man, she was from the South, and the prayer was a local call. So we went for quite some time. And I love me some praying, but she was, she went on for a good time, and I felt very blessed. So we're going to move on. Serious. What do we do? Substance. We got mental health. Did we do those things? Let me look at that. No, we did not do substance abuse. So it was on my, not on my list, but it's on ChatGPT's list. So I'm going to slide it in here in order. And I think the biggest thing in that one is avoid the things that people know get you. So weirdly, I think it's like 80% of the people in the world could use cocaine and just be like, yeah, whatever. But there are 20%, when you use cocaine, it trips something inside of you and you just can't get away from it. There was a movie with Nicolas Cage. I think it was like Lords of War or something like that, or Chaos of War. I don't know. But him and his brother got paid one time in an arms deal in cocaine, and his brother just went off the edge with it. And that's the first time I'd ever really seen, oh, I get it. Just like they talk about, like in my family, there is some alcoholism. And so there's a big push in all of our family group to say, hey, just kind of avoid it, because you don't want to be the one that the gene is there and bam, you're in, right? So know what your family history is, and know what are the ones that have a high addiction to, and just stay away from it, right? Live a good life. Don't take that stuff. All right. If you do find yourself there, find a group, find a therapist. Again, Fox Oaks Counseling, Jamie's right there for you. Get some help. Find a professional. If you hear the barking, that is our Great Pyrenees doing his job and protecting me from the landscapers taking down trees and stuff. Let me go see what's up. The Great Pyrenees is a beautiful dog that is the size of a tauntaun. I feel like I could split him open and slide in Luke Skywalker and he would be safe for the night. It is a massive dog, and he's not done growing yet. If you'd like to come over and see my tauntaun, just let me know. And if you have a small child, we could rig up a seat, and your child, if you're going to sign in a waiver, could ride him around, and it would be extreme. Okay, so substance abuse. Get treatment. I love the tenets of Alcoholics Anonymous. Weirdly, if you go through their thing, it's been working for years, and one of the biggest parts of it is accountability and support. The other is believe in a higher power, so you need to have hope. Of course, my hope is in the Bible and what it says, but your hope could be, weirdly, it says it can be in anything, and they've tested it out. It can be in anything. There is somebody out there. Actually, let me take it back. I had a friend who said, my hope was in the guy who believed, but I didn't believe. So I think it was something like he says, Timmy, do you believe that I believe you can make it? And he's like, I think you think I can make it, but I don't think I can. He's like, that doesn't matter. You just need to believe in the fact that I believe in you. And he's like, okay. And he made it out. So that is fascinating to me. Okay, moving on. Mental health challenges, we kind of talked a little bit ahead of time, but I think the biggest one there is stress. If you don't understand how to get out of stress or to take a deep breath and relax, then that's tough. You need to do that. If you need help with that, just ask. There's some easy ways to do it: breathing, getting enough sleep, and so forth. I did a podcast on how to get a good night's sleep. I think it's like 18-ish ways to help yourself get a good night's sleep. That'd be a great start right there, right? Again, therapy, Fox Oak Counseling. I'm going to promo your business all day long. I mean, you fit all these things, right? Jamie, if you listen to this, just tell me thank you. I don't know. You have to say thank you. Say something else. 42. Text me 42 because that is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. The other is have that healthy lifestyle. So include people or find groups that are building you up and not down. Why do kids, I don't know if this is true in high school anymore, but in the 80s, you would go down the wrong track and eventually you're wearing all black and then you're like smoking and then you're with the guys and now you're doing other drugs. And I don't know why in our days it was goth kids and I don't know what they call them now, but the entry was like, I'm a loner, I have nobody. You wear black, now you smoke heavy, and the next thing you know, you're into like heavy drugs. I am sure there are sports kids doing heavy drugs too, but it was like 99% of the kids in the 80s that were doing the heavy boots and silver chains and all that were like going down a weird track. Why do our kids gear towards that? I don't know, but those guys are the one thing they do very beautiful is include. Hey, come on in, join us. We'll take you for who you are. Man, I love that. I wish more people were like that, minus the, I don't look good in black, so no black and no silver jewelry, and the smoking. I just never been a fan of smoking. So, yeah. Weirdly, you guys may not know this, but in the 70s and 80s, when my mom was an Eastern agent, which probably you guys don't even know what that is. That's like Delta, except worse. They went out of business, but I would fly for free. And you would get the worst seat on the plane, which is usually way in the back, with the smokers. I know you're thinking, wait a minute, what? People smoked on planes? They sure did. And there was a smoking section, which is weird because you're in a tube with confined air. I don't know how they thought there was a smoking section. I guess the smoke was moving to the back of the plane because the plane's moving forward. Anyway, find a healthy group of people and go with them. If you want to play pickleball, join the pickleball group. If you want to read books, join the library, right? Find people that are doing the things you want to do. Now, I'm going to do a little tangent here. I've done a really good job not being tangential. It is so funny. I built this outline thinking it would be faster, and I'm already at 42 minutes or something. And I'm almost done, but it's so weird. Every conversation I have with myself in this microphone is like 45 to 60 minutes long, and I can't make it any faster. It's so weird. Anyway, all right, last one, last and least is natural disasters. This is the one people want to plan for. Oh no, the sun is going to explode and we're going to burn up. Guess what? You're going to be dead anyway. Who cares? Oh no, there's going to be a nuclear bomb. Guess what? You will be dead anyway. You live near Atlanta. You're dead. Oh no, there's a chemical that's going across the world and it's killing people. You're going to be dead anyway. You can't really plan for these things, but you can be smart. So what can you do to plan? Most of it is like have a plan. What would you do? And many times, especially if you're in a safer location, is just stay put. Have a little bit of water. I think most people don't even have 2 days worth of food on hand. So you can have a deep pantry. If you do canned foods, which I don't, but if you do canned foods, just buy whenever the store does buy one, get two free, or buy one, get one free, whatever, do it and save it and then eat through that, right? Use the back or that deep pantry method. You can look up Shelf Reliance or other things like that, and they have cool little shelves that actually spool out the old can first. It's first in, first out or something like that. Anyway, you can simply buy a little bit more here and there. What I wouldn't do is go out and buy a whole big bag of beans and be like, I'm ready. You don't even eat beans and rice. You don't have no idea what it is. Be smarter with your money and be smarter with those resources. I would say, food, water, and shelter. I'm going to go bigger into those things, what you can do just to be prepared on that. So darn it, my timeline's going to get skewed. But anyway, I'm going to do it anyway because I think it's important. So have an emergency plan with your family. Have phone numbers written down. How many of you guys even remember phone numbers? Most of the time it's just call child 1 and then it rings them. You don't even know their phone number. So write it down somewhere, put it in your wallet, put it in your car. Have the numbers written down. So if you need to borrow somebody else's phone, that's probably actually, you know what? That is the number one emergency we're going to have. I lost my phone and I need to call somebody. Write down phone numbers and put them somewhere. Put them in your wallet. Write it in the back of your shirt or in your underwear, so now you can at least call somebody, right? Know at least one person's phone number, or a password to get onto, I don't know, Facebook or something, right? Know somebody's phone number. Have your kids. So I've got kids in college. I got one in Auburn and one in UGA, and the others are here with me. Hey, if there was something weird, like, okay, here's a weird one that I am totally not bought into, but I'm going to spill it or roll it out like I am. So right now there's some junk going on in Israel. It is super sad. And, I guess it's biblical. Things are always going to go crazy for Israel. Ask them what they thought about when Hitler came to power. I mean, that is some crazy stuff. Who would have ever thought people would do that to people? Anyway, craziness is going on. Apparently, I see on Facebook or whatever that, I don't even know the bad guys, Hamas, or I don't know what they're called. They're saying, hey, all over the world, people rise up on Friday. It's Thursday right now, so hopefully nothing happens. I don't think anything will. I think all that stuff is stupid and it's never going to happen. But what could you do? Have a plan with your family. Hey, if stuff really goes weird, here's our plan. Or let's go back up, and this is actually true, right? 9/11 happens. I can't get home. Should I come home? No, you didn't need to come home. What's something that's different that we could, let's say 9/11 happened. And then, like in the old movie Red Dawn, the Russians and the Cubans, I think, or somebody were coming over. In the new movie, I think it was maybe China. I don't know, but they're flying over and their paratroopers are dropping in and whatever. And you're like, hey, what do we do? Yeah, have a plan worked out. Everybody come home. That's an easy plan. And then what? I don't know. Maybe find a friend that lives further up that's not around everything and be like, hey, if stuff really went weird, could we come over? And they're going to be like, yeah, maybe if you came over, could you bring some stuff? Sure. What kind of stuff? I don't know, right? Ask them. What do they need? Mostly it's going to be like, hey, we need some extra food and we need some water. Those are going to be the hardest things. I think the other thing people don't really think about is the sanitary conditions. We poop and we flush it and it goes down and we never see it again. I think it was the number 4 killer in all of the world is dysentery. So, we don't have that problem in America. We flush our poop away, but most people don't get to do that. And so drinking bad water gets you bad in the tummy. So having clean water, how do you do that? Actually, again, I'll talk about that for a minute. I hope I can do this quickly. Or I take that back. Hopefully the next part that I'm now going to do that I really hadn't, it's in my notes, but is valuable enough that you stay and listen. I think it's going to be. It's things that, like the guy from Survival Podcast has put out there. It's things that I have tried to do and I haven't been too successful. Like one of them is, hey, garden, produce your own food. I hate gardening, but I do have chickens. Of course, mostly I feed the coyotes and the hawks, but, I guess everything has this problem. So the other one is, have your network. In the old days, it was a calling tree. Now maybe it's a text tree or it's maybe your social media profiles, but kind of be aware of what's going on in your local surroundings. I think the biggest thing that's ever going to happen around you is going to be some sort of weather-driven aspect. So maybe it's a hurricane, maybe it's a tornado, maybe it's heavy flooding. I remember, I don't know, it's like 15 years ago, we had the 100-year flood here in Cherokee County or Woodstock, and man, it rained for like 8 days straight. I think Noah was building an ark. It was crazy. And we actually had a hole pop in our wall from the rain, and we were about to walk out the door on a trip. I popped my back head in. I'm like, what is that noise? And it was just water streaming into our living room. I'm like, well, that's not good. So fortunately, there's an easy solution to like water getting into your roof, and that's a like $10 tarp and some nails. So I just threw a tarp over it and nailed it in and said, well, we'll fix the nails later. We put it up, asked my brother to kind of take a peek on it and see if it's still there every day. And we left. Probably not the wisest decision with my asset, but whatever. We had a vacation we needed to go on. I needed to go play and have fun. Anyway, those are the top 10 things and things you can do to make sure that you have a bit of sanity. Now, if stuff went weird and you're like, okay, Andy, what about some practical things? Like what can I do in my own household? First thing we talked about was food. Know what you eat. So a cool thing about journaling your food is you just get to see like, oh, look at these choices I'm making. The other thing is you get to understand what you actually eat. Store the things that you already eat. So I eat a lot of peanut butter. Peanut butter does not go bad for very long. So I could easily buy a bunch of peanut butter. I don't, but I should, right? Don't fall in the trap of buying dumb things like dehydrated water. I mean, that's just a joke. But yeah, you just add water to a bottle, poof, there's water. Store what you eat so you're not wasting money, right? Let's see. Water is the next thing. anybody can store water if you're really worried about it. I think one of the things that they do actually say, even on the FEMA website, is when we start to declare natural emergencies or disasters or whatever, national emergencies or disasters, is fill up your tub. So if you have a tub, great, you have a water source, just fill it up real quick and you'll have water right there. If you want to store water, you can, and water in a clean jug stores for pretty much ever, as long as you, well, even if you keep it on light, if it's got no air in it. So fill it all the way up, then put the cap down. There's no air in there. If there's no air in there and there's no like food or living things in water. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, wait, you want me to store city water? Man, if you're drinking the city water, it's okay. It's stored anyway. I mean, if you live where there's like a spring or a lake or whatever, then that's awesome. You can always get something like a purifier, like the Brita or a Berkey filter, and you can make water out of that. Shelter. So if you have a house, great, there's no problem. I would say have a few things to assist your house should something go wrong. So maybe 2 10 by 10 tarps that you could put over the roof in case something went through it, like a tree or a cow, I don't know, whatever, or lightning hits it, I don't know. Something that I do for our house for redundancy, for security, which is next on the line, is our house is prone to electricity or lightning hits. I don't know why, we just are. And I've spent lots of money trying to figure out solutions for it, and it still happens. So now my solution is, okay, lightning. Just like the predators that eat my chickens, and I'm just like, whatever, I'll just have more chickens. I actually buy extra routers and know that lightning is going to take them out. I don't know why, but they do. So I've got all these extra net gears or similar in boxes in my house so that when stuff gets blown up, I can just replace it. It's pretty cheap replacement. It's $40. Rather than doing more things like, yes, you could put up a lightning rod for like $40,000. I mean, what? I am not spending $40,000 when all I need to do is replace a router or a switch, whatever. So you can make smart choices like that. Security. I am not going to tell people to go out and buy a gun because most of you guys are not going to understand how to shoot a gun. So I will tell you this. If you're going to go out and get a gun. So what is that funny thing? Never bring a knife to a gunfight or something. So yes, if you were that nervous, go somewhere else. But if you're still thinking, yes, I should have a gun for security, go out and learn to use it first. Like go to the range, pay someone to teach you, hire the expert. What am I supposed to do with this gun? Guns are just as likely to hurt yourself if you don't know what you're doing. So go get some training. Then I would probably in America, you can actually carry open. So in most places, you could just have a holster with a gun in it, and that's like legal. You can do that. What's illegal, weirdly, is to conceal the gun. So there was a guy, I don't remember what his name was, but he owned or worked in an Ace Hardware in Kennesaw somewhere. And in Kennesaw, they actually have a law in the books. It's the law in Kennesaw where every homeowner has to have a gun. So this guy had a cowboy hat, had cowboy boots, had a big buckle, and he wore 6-shooters on his side. And he's like, yes, or I don't know if it was 6-shooter, might have been a Glock 19, but he open carried right there in the store. And it was awesome. Yeah, you could do that. I don't recommend it because people get freaked out. I would conceal carry. So weirdly, you get your concealed carry permit, usually from the same place that you get your marriage license, which I just find ironically funny. But here in Cherokee County, it is true. And most places it can be true as well. So I think some of the other things are just be situationally aware. So just look around. Don't do what stupid people are doing. I guess in like a building, know where the exits are. I always sit with my face facing the door, my face pointing towards the doors so I can see who's coming. So here's one that's not going to be, you're not going to like it, but I think it's true. So if you're the guy, and this is why I'm not a huge fan of being armed. It makes people heroes, and usually heroes die. So I would say just keep your head low. Now, man, on the flip side, if there was somebody shooting people up, I would probably go out and tackle them and try to stop it. And yeah, I would probably die. But, because I don't know how to disarm somebody with a gun. But I have training and I do have a concealed carry permit. So I would probably try to stop them lead for lead, right? So if let's say the guy, the husband in this case, let's just go with this scenario. It could be the girl, whatever. The husband has a gun and somebody is shooting in a restaurant and he's like, I'm going to go stop this. So now who's protecting the kids? So I think all the ladies should also conceal carry. If you're going to go down that road, go down the full way, have a backup who is riding shotgun. Otherwise, don't go down that road. Just stay hidden. Okay. Energy. So, the other thing that happens out where we are is we lose power all the time. So we actually have the ability to generate some electricity. So do you need that? If you live in a place where there are tons of houses or apartments or whatever, the power people, Georgia Power, whoever, is going to get that power up really quick. You probably don't need anything, right? Just, maybe have a flashlight and some food that doesn't need to be cooked. Everything will be back on pretty quickly. If you live in a place that's prone to power outages, well, maybe you should think about that. So go down that road. I just wouldn't go crazy big. Don't spend $10,000 on a generator. You probably just need a Honda generator, like one of these small ones, and, fill it up with some gas, and then it'll be good for a while. So you don't have to go crazy, but energy is a concern. Most of the time, it's just stay warm and stay put. All right. So health and sanitation, I sort of mentioned this one earlier. So probably the biggest thing is disposing of waste. Dig a hole. You can go ahead and Google that now or YouTube it. Like, what should I do? How deep should I make it? And you can understand that process. So I think I'm on I'm not on sewer. I'm on the other thing. Man, everyone said it right there, and I cannot think of the word. Septic. Thank you. Yep. Somebody said it, and I finally heard it, and that's not true, but it just went through my head. Septic. So I can flush the toilets for a lot, and it's just going to go out there. So how do you, some people don't know this. You literally can just pour water into the back of your toilet or into the bowl. And if you pour enough water, it's going to flush itself. So, if you're on septic, you can flush away. Now, the bad thing on city water, if you're in a low place, a lot of times they pump that stuff out. So weirdly, there could be like hey, you have about 48 hours of us not being able to pump before poop starts flowing up your pipes. And there's no real way to stop that. So if you're in a low-lying place, actually something I would consider is getting one of those things that'll stop up your toilet. I forgot what it's called, and I don't even have a Google for it. But there are things that'll stop water or poop from backing up into your system. Look into that. If you're in a high-rise apartment, nobody cares because it's not going to go up there. But that sanitary thing and dysentery is a big deal, and you just need to really watch out for that. I think probably in that weird scenario of there's an emergency that you have to deal with right now, cash is king, right? I think the other thing is have a list, a handwritten, or maybe not handwritten, a printed list of what to do. Hey, my kid's at Auburn. If something really went bad, what do you do? First, drive home. If you can't do that, go halfway and I'll come get you. I don't know, right? Come up with your own plan, whatever makes sense. In the time I've been alive for 50 years, nothing like that has ever happened, which is why I don't really plan or push that far. I just think that's stupid. And it's like, Chicken Little, you're worrying about the world coming down, right? Yeah, I know there's supposed to be a recession right now. Yeah, I lived through the 70s. I remember my mom pulling into a gas station and waiting for like 20 minutes to get gas, and we could only go because our license plate ended with an odd number. So only like odd numbers one day, even numbers the other day. It was weird, and I didn't understand it at the time. We made it. Everything's fine. The interest rates were like 20% to buy a house. Here we are. Everything's okay. I don't think the big things are the big thing. I think the big thing is you're probably going to die from the top 10 things of way people die before your time. And that's just sad. And the thing you could have done is do CrossFit every day. Go with the tenets of the 100 Words of Fitness by Greg Glassman. Eat meats and vegetables, right? Fruits and or nuts and seeds, some fruits, little starches, and no sugars. Actually, I think that's how it goes, which is how I live my life. Right now, I'm actually tracking my food, and it's very fascinating. I told Levi this would be stupid because I know what I eat, and I don't really care. I'm a small guy. I've been 165 pounds for 10 years, and I'm okay with that. I like that. And he said, you should track it anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it because you find pleasure in it and not pleasure. You find usefulness in it, and I'm going to listen to you since you've been doing it. And it's true. Even Laura would tell me the same thing. Andy, you should at least try it. And I was like, I'm good. So both of them have said it. So I believe Laura. And then I finally said, okay, Levi, I'll do it because we're at Disney together and he's tracking and showing me stuff. And I want to be involved in my kid's life. So I said, sure. I don't really care to, but it means a lot to you. So you know what? I'm in. Track your stuff. If you know what's going on in your life, you're going to be able to be much more prepared for it. The best planning is stuff you can do right now that'll compound over time. Put your money into an investments that'll compound over time. Put your health and your fitness into things that'll compound over time. Guys, we're here in Woodstock, Georgia. Yes, I help locals. But if you're not local and need help, I'm happy to help you. It's just harder too. We just got to do everything virtually. If you need a gym, if you need coaching, mentoring, and accountability, you want to come to us. Yeah, there are tons of gyms. Why CrossFit Garage? You're going to pay more because we're going to give you more. If you want to come in with a discount, we do not do that. We actually send you to some gyms nearby if you want a deep discount because that's all they do. They discount and move you through. Great, good for them. That is not what we want. We want people who are happy, humble, and helpful, that want to be healthy and fit now, as well as when they're 90. We want people that want to become the hero of their own journey. And we can't help you with those things if you're like, hey, I only want to pay $10. Great, you have $10 service. Guess what that is? It's Planet Fitness or whatever the purple one is. And you just go in and you do whatever you want and nothing really happens, right? You end up doing some exercise, but you're never training. So what we do here is we train you and we coach you. So you're going to pay for that and it's going to work. Come to us if you are looking for a group of people that is headed in the direction of health and fitness sustainably over time. Come to us if you're looking for people who are glass is half full. Come to us if you are happy and fun and you love fitness and you love for coaching. So coaching, mentoring, and accountability. Come to us if you want to hire somebody to shortcut the process. Come to us if you want goal reviews, someone to give a crap about your life and your goals and to give you some ideas. I've been doing goal sessions for myself and other people for 50 years. Well, maybe not 50 years, maybe 10 years. I know I have a podcast on setting goals. Go back and look at that, or building habits. We are here for you. We are at CrossFit Garage. You can find us online, CrossFitGarage.com. I know that's weird. My email address is andy@CrossFitGarage.com. I believe in this stuff so much. Most of my entire family does it. I don't push it with those that don't. Of my extended family, there are multiple ones that do it as well. I have a sister that owns a gym. I have another sister that coaches, and I have a niece that works for one of the big application stores, Watify. We are into this. We love health and fitness. We want to be alive. We want to hedge our bets and by the actions we take. Guys, we are here for you. If you need us, come find us. You can send me an email. You can DM me. You can text me. My phone number is all over our website. The number you see is me. Call me. I will answer. Andy McCann, and we can get to talking. Guys, we're here to help. Take care.